Saltburn is a film that has brought out a lot of emotions in people. A lot of good, but a lot of bad as well. As you scroll through film Twitter, it really seems like people either love or they really hate this film. And after watching it for a second time, I'm really starting to understand this a lot more because there's a lot of things that I loved at the first watch that I didn't love in the second watch, and vice versa. This is just a very complicated movie, and not in terms of story structure, but more in terms of liking it. I think this is one of those movies that as I revisit it over time, depending on the day and time that I watch it, I will have a different opinion on it. I think when I watched it for the first time, I absolutely loved it. Watching it again a month later for the second time, I still really enjoyed it, but I did love it less. And I think it's just one of those films that elicits a different reaction every time you watch it, for positive or for negative. So bearing that in mind, this is not a critique or a review of the movie Saltburn. What I wanted to do in this video is more hone in on one specific criticism that I keep seeing all across the internet. And that is the criticism that Saltburn dropped the ball when it comes to discussing social issues like class or the rich. The main criticism I keep seeing is that this movie didn't really have much to say at all. And that is something I absolutely agree with. The difference comes in that I think it is a positive for the film as opposed to a lot of people see it as a negative. To me, especially on my second watch, it really became clear in my eyes that Saltburn is not that type of movie. From what I can tell, it does not seem like the filmmaker set out to make a movie like The Menu or like Triangle of Sadness. To me, Saltburn is not this complex social commentary dealing with class and ideas about eating the rich. To me, Saltburn just seems to be a pretty straightforward movie about one thing, and that is desire. Not to say it doesn't have layers, not to say there's not, subtext you could pull out of the movie, there obviously is. But I don't think it's a stretch to say that this movie doesn't have the subtext that something like Triangle of Sadness does have. But I think the main idea I wanted to drive home in this video is that that is okay. It really just depends on the director's intention. Because if the director's goal here was to make a movie like Triangle of Sadness that really explores class and the rich and all that stuff, then I think this is an absolute failure. But upon a second watch, I do not think that was the goal going in. Again, I could be wrong. I don't know the director. I don't know what her plans were here, but it just seems like there was no attempt to do that. And so because of that, I don't have that expectation with the film. And I think that's really the main pushback I have with the criticism I've been seeing, is that we're criticizing Saltburn because it's not like Triangle of Sadness, when the former didn't even set out to be the latter. So we can't blame the movie for failing at something when it wasn't even trying to be that. Now, if you watch Saltburn and you don't enjoy the singular focus of the film and the fact that it doesn't carry a lot of subtext with it, that's totally fine. I get that. And honestly, I would normally be right there with you. I prefer films that have lots of layers, lots of subtext, as well as social commentary. But for some reason with Saltburn, I just really enjoyed the simplicity of it. A simple story with the feel of an Eric Rohmer film, or Call Me By Your Name with an added layer of Shakespeare to accent. I don't know, it just felt so straightforward, so unique, and gosh, the cinematography in this movie was absolutely amazing. The colors just pop like crazy. But yeah, I don't know, I just wanted to share my thoughts on this because every time I open Twitter, I'm just seeing people, when they're not sharing the bathtub scene,
Holy God, what are you showing me? Hey, come on!
They're just complaining about this movie, about how it has nothing to say, and to me, I agree, but I think that's the point, not a negative. So I don't know, I've rambled long enough. I want to know your thoughts. Both, did you enjoy Saltburn as a film? Did you not? But more importantly, let me know your thoughts on my criticism of the criticism. Am I on base? Am I way off target? What do you guys think? Comment below, let me know. And also don't forget to drop a like, but also subscribe because I'm gonna be releasing my top 10 or maybe even a top 20 at this point of 2023. It's getting hard. There are so many great movies that came out last year, and so I'm working on that as we speak. So definitely subscribe because that will be coming out soon. But as always, thank you so much for taking the time out of your day to watch this video. It really means the world.